Hey, what's going on guys? Asher and John here, and today we're going over the third part in our combat style mod series guide, as well as the final part for now. And today we're going to be covering Elemental Wells, the newest addition to the combat style mods. Before we jump into this, I actually want to keep up to date on all Destiny 2 news, information, links, tutorials, and more. You go ahead and subscribe to my channel. Otherwise, let's jump into it. Now starting off, because these mods were introduced this season, that being Season of the Chosen, aka Season 13, these mods are going to be obtainable through the war table in the Helm social space. Currently at the moment there's 6 of these mods available, and they're available through the Helm rewards section on a 3-week rotation. Now that that's out of the way, let's go ahead and talk about how Elemental Wells work. Basically how it works is you have to put on an Elemental Well mod in order to spawn in Elemental Wells. When you pick up an Elemental Well, it will grant energy to your ability with the lowest current energy. Picking up an Elemental Well whose element matches your subclass damage type grants energy to all of your abilities. Another important thing to note is that the 6 current Elemental Well mods that are available are not tied to any armor affinity, so we're not going to be talking about armor affinity at all. One last thing I'd like to mention is that currently at the moment, I'm not sure if this is a byproduct of there being no stasis legendary weapons, but currently Elemental Wells cannot be used with stasis. However, take that with a grain of salt because I'm not exactly the best tester in the world. If I missed something with the stasis thing, let me know. So with that being said, let's go ahead and jump into showing you how much energy does it actually do. So starting off, I'm going ahead and show you how much energy it gives if you don't have a matching subclass type. And as you just saw, that was absolutely horrible considering these have the same spawn frequency as a Warmind cell, so they're pretty infrequent. And now I'm going to show you what it looks like if you have a matching subclass, and as you can see, it does pretty much the same thing except for all 3 of your abilities. Now something I would like to note is that there are 3 different types of Elemental Well mods at the moment. Now for the first set of mods, basically they allow you to create Elemental Wells using different methods. So first up we got Elemental Ordnance, which allows you to create Elemental Wells with a grenade, and then Elemental Light allows you to create an Elemental Well with your super, and then Elemental Armaments allow you to create Elemental Wells as long as your weapon that you're using matches your subclass. Then the next type of Elemental Well mod we got, they basically give you additional effects to picking up Elemental Wells besides the granting energy main effect. So the first one we got here is Font of Might, and it makes it so when you pick up an Elemental Well that matches your subclass, you get a temporary bonus to weapon damage of that same elemental type. Then the second mod of this type is called Font of Wisdom, and it makes it so when you pick up an Elemental Well that matches your subclass, you get a temporary significant increase to your intellect, improving the recharge of your super. One thing I'd like to note with the Font of Wisdom is that this will only be really that effective on lower tiers of intellect, because essentially what the mod does is it boosts your intellect to tier 10 for like 30 seconds. So because of this, the higher your intellect is, the less of an effect that you're going to see when using this mod. And the last type of Elemental Well mod is called Elemental Charge, and basically it allows you to become charged with light through Elemental Wells. Now even though it does give you 2 pieces of charge with light at a time, you do need another Elemental Well mod in order to make Elemental Wells. So unfortunately when it comes to super basic charge with light builds, I don't really see you really using this mod, considering it takes 2 mods to do what 1 mod would do. However, I could see this mod definitely having some use in team-centric builds, as well as some upper echelon type charge with light builds. However, with that being said, that's pretty much it for Elemental Wells. They're not very strong considering they have the same spawn frequency as Warmind cells. And you know, if you've seen Warmind cells, they can clear an entire room of enemies. So the fact that these have the same exact spawn frequency and only give like a little itty bit of, energy, I'm not sure how I feel about these. I guess realistically we have to wait and see, in future seasons when Bungie adds more of this type of mod to see what they really do with them. And another thing is we are going to be getting a large Warmind cell nerf. However, Warmind cells do all kinds of crazy things, as well as charge with light. Again, we'll have to wait and see, and normally in these videos I would recommend a build for you to use, but considering there's only 6 mods really, I would just consider using the first 5 mods, that being Elemental Ordnance, Elemental Light, Elemental Armaments, Font of Might, and Font of Wisdom, all at the same time, because let's be honest, like I showed in the video, these elemental wells are kind of weak, and so you kind of have to use all the mods at once in order for them to feel like they're doing something. However, I guess you could use the 6th elemental well mod, that being elemental charged, with some charge of flight builds like I said before, but again, I don't really recommend it because you need another elemental well mod in order to make the elemental wells, so that way you can become charge of flight. I'd rather just use one green charge of flight mod, like taking charge, for example, which just requires me to create orbs of power, which I can do with pretty much anything. Like I said before, at the moment of making this video, stasis does not work with elemental wells as well, so just in general, I would stay away from elemental wells at the moment. Also, from now on, from the making of this video, I know I keep saying that a lot, but from the making of this video, from now on, each time there is new mods introduced, it doesn't matter if they're Warmind Cell, elemental well, charge of flight, a new type of combat style mod, I'm just gonna make a video covering them all when they drop in a new season. Anyways, this was Acer and John. That's pretty much all I gotta say about elemental wells. They're not very good. They're very limited in use at the moment. Just stay away from them. And I'll see you in the next one. Peace.